the domain and range. Now this one, I'm assuming that no one got right. How can I do this? Why am I so negative? It's because I didn't get any sleep last night. I apologize, okay? And that's a true story. So it says here, state the domain and range. The reason is because I didn't explain how to do domain and range of points. That's why it didn't work, okay? So here we go. This is 6A. It says the domain and range of F. Do you remember we said the domain should be what? What's the domain mean in English? Right? In the x side, okay? Now here's the thing. What's the smallest x value here? And 2, what's the biggest one? Okay, so somebody in class will tell me this is the domain. Okay, so that's integers, I can live with that. It's from -2 to 7. That is unfortunately incorrect. Okay. Taylor, go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. You would answer, yeah? Go ahead. Yeah. The problem is this implies that if it says from -2 to 7, it implies that -1 is an x value. If I take a look here, -1 isn't an x value. There's no x values there, right? So when you say your domain here is from -2 to 7, that in integers, that implies that -1 is an x value, right? 0 is an x value, 1 is an x value, 2, 3, 4. The problem is here, -1, there's no values, right? 0, there's no values. 1, there's no values. Right. So we're going to not write it that way. So for points, all you just do is write this. -2, 2, 3, 5, 7. Okay. Because those are the only x values that work, are those 5 ones.
And the other one, what does I stand for again?
Integer. It's like whole number. Right? Integer.
Oh.
You see the difference in why I had to do that, though? Right? No, I don't need to do that, no, because I'm just listing the numbers there that are. Yeah?
Personally, that was wrong. Why you put
because they're whole numbers, right? So that'd be -2, -1, 0. If this was an R graph, and I'm not going to be able to write on this again. If it was an R graph, it would be like a straight line. It would be a line, right? Like a continuous line all the way through. Okay, right? But because there's dots, automatically the decimals are gone. It's just the whole numbers. Okay? And this is just a nitpicky thing. I want to try not to be nitpicky like this on the other test, but just something to think about, right? Like, if you can't just say -2 to 7, that implies like a big value. Okay, for range, sorry.
For the range, you can do from 1 to 5, right?
Right on. You definitely, I'm going to write it like that, right? Because you have, exactly, very good. You have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. So my range, I can say 1 is less than or equal to y is less than or equal to 5. Y, that one works because every y value works from 1 to 5. You see the distinction there? That's sort of big. Yes?
So why did I in the first?
Why don't I? Just because they're individual points. Like there's no inequality. Like there's no greater than less than. If you put it in there, it's not wrong. I'll say fine. Okay, right? But it's not required because, you know what I mean? There's no, you know what I mean? There's just points.
Yes.
This is just me being a nitpicky math teacher. That's all this is. All right, other than that, do you want me to do through the rest of this? Because the rest of them should be just like the last question. So it says F of 3. So somebody please tell me what F of 3 means again. Please be brave. Go ahead.
The output value or the y value.
Very good. So I go x equals 3, that should equal 4.
That's what I was asking.
That's all they're saying. What is it? F of 5, then, that should be 2. F of 5 minus 3. Now this is the other thing. What is F of bracket 5 minus 3? What should I do for that?
Is it 2?
It makes it 2 because 5 minus 3 is 2, right? So F of 2 is equal to 5. F of 5 we said was equal to 2. F of 3 is 4. The point is I was just trying to show they're not the same.
Oh, we wouldn't do what we did before. We would be like.
Right, because they're
set.
Right, because the next question is like that, but because they're brackets, and we're over here. So if I were to do F of 3 minus 2, you always do your brackets first, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's not going to be the same as
But
this.
that's
This is I 3 and 4, right? I
But
and
like F5 minus F3, just maybe
yeah,
that's
right on. Yeah, right on.
we do that.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But if it's written like this, it would. Okay, it's just a blue reference. All right, here we go. Is this helping at all or not really making things worse? I don't want it to make things worse. I want it to help. Okay. Not to main arrange things a trick. That's why I'm doing that. All right, 10 and 13. Which one's 10? Oh, here we go. The graph of that messy thing is given. Okay, I'm going to sort of keep notes at the bottom here and work this out if you don't mind, and we'll hope you can do that. Okay, so it says here, the graph of f of x, it's number 10, I should probably say. That's okay. We have f of x equals 2x minus 3 squared minus 1. They want you to find f of negative 2. Okay, so there's my graph. There are actually, two ways I can find f of negative 2 here, hypothetically. What could the two possible ways be? Give me one way to start with, and then no, go ahead. Sub in the equation. I have the equation finally, so I can sub it in. Hypothetically, what else could I do? Go ahead. Look at the graph. The problem with this, looking at the graph method, I wanted to do this last night when I was taking this up. Negative 2, that is not my graph, okay? Right, but theoretically, though, you should be able to. So I'm just going to sub this in. I'm going to pick a random person at random, Cassidy, and tell me how to do f of negative 2, please. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, sub in negative 2.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, go ahead.
Negative 2.
Yeah. That's going to be 2 times negative 5 squared minus 1, which should be 2 times 25 minus 1, which equals 49. Okay. So what is that 49, please? I know I keep saying the same thing. I want to make sure this is good. Hannah, what does that 49 mean?
It means that when x is negative 2, y is 49.
Very good. So if we look at my graph here, I can't stretch that high, okay, but at negative 2, look at the parabola, it's going to be a high value, right? Okay, and that's all it's saying. It's confirming it makes sense. If we got an answer of negative 8, we know there'd be a problem, right? Because clearly it's not negative 8. Okay. What is f of negative 2? We already said that. State the main range of this function. And let's start with D, then we'll go back to C. How do you know that f is a function based on the graph? And Shane, go ahead.
There's only one y value.
Right on. You can do your vertical line thing, like all the way along here. It doesn't hit ever. Domain and range for this, I'm not going to write it out. In English, what's the domain of a parabola? Three people know the domain. 27 people are going to flunk this course. What's the domain of a parabola? Go ahead. Infinite. Parabolas go on forever. So I didn't mean to say that. You all laughed. I'm sorry, that came out wrong. I didn't get a lot of sleep. What's the possible y values for this? In English, it's going to be what? Go ahead. Yeah.
Is it y equals, or y greater than or equal to negative 1?
Right on. Okay, and I should probably write those on the board. I apologize, you guys won't forget. Okay. The domain for this is going to be this. And I think that, I'm not sure if the textbook writes it quite like this. No, because the scale is 2, right?
Oh.
So yeah, it's going to be that. Okay. Sort of good? Is she alright?
Yeah.
So she looks stressed out. Alright. Sorry. I apologize. Okay, 13. Oh yes, word problems. Okay, what's going on here? Open that up again. Oops. Okay, so this is another nice word problem here. So again, don't get stressed out again if you see more word problems in the home. What's that? So you'll be all over this. You make $13.50 an hour too? No. Okay, while that's freezing, it looks like that isn't going to work. It's going to freeze on me today, I think. So, if only I had a map. This whole thing's dead on me. Okay, come over somebody's book then, and we'll just do it from there. Okay, so this is number 13. So this is the word problem one. It says, as a mental arithmetic exercise. Now, this question came almost right from grade 10, okay, from elimination substitution. All right, so hopefully if you think back to grade 10, you should be okay with these questions, all right? So this could have even came from before that, all right? So I'll read out what it says. It says, as a mental arithmetic exercise, a teacher asks her students to think of a number, triple it, subtract the resulting number to 24. Finally, they were asked to multiply the resulting difference by the number they first thought of. I will read that slower in a moment. Use function notation to express the final answer. This is what I want to say. Let x equals the original number. Let f of x equals the final answer. One of my former students was here last night, and they were doing their answers in terms of x and y. Okay, right? Y is gone in grade 11. Okay, f of x is going to be x, and here's the equation right there. Well, that's another one to say, but x and f of x are everything in this course. Right? So the question says here, think of a number and triple it. How do you triple a number? Times by 3, okay? So I'm going to have a 3x in here somewhere. Then it says, subtract the resulting number from 24. How do you subtract that from 24? Good, 24 minus 3x. Then it says, finally they were asked to multiply the resulting difference by the number they first thought of. That sounds scary. What does that just say in math language? They were asked to multiply the resulting difference by the number they first thought of.
Oh yeah, multiply.
Multiply by x, not divide by x. Okay, multiply. So that's just going to be multiplied by x. Okay. So that's all you have to do, f of x equals that. Now, the advantage that I have that you guys don't have on a test is that I can say that out loud to myself 3 times. You guys can whisper that to yourselves in your mind as many times as you want. If you need to do it out loud in your brain, you know, you gotta practice thinking loud or whatever, right? Because normally what I tell kids to do is to read a question twice or 3 times, especially one like this that is easy to get tripped up on, right? So just be careful there. Oh, this is a good one here now. Determine, whose was this? You can have that back. It says determine if it's 3, -5, and 10. I'm not going to do B, I'm going to do C though. Okay, what are they actually asking us to find here? I'll take 2 phones here today, please. Let's go. I'll take them home for you guys, please. You know what a student did to me yesterday? I took his phone and he threw it at me. He was mad, so like he was standing from me over the and he just did this. And I was shocked. It hit me off the chest like this. I was like, what if I would have broken it? He was like, oh, I dropped it 100 times. It wasn't broken yet. So then he was hoping that he would get me the phone. Okay, what does it say? If find if you choose 3, 5, and 10, what does that mean? Chan, go ahead. Right on. So all I'm finding here is f of 3, f of -5, and f of 10, which I'm not going to do. Okay, that's just calculate or work. Okay. What I am going to do is the C part. Let me put a star beside this one. C says, find the maximum possible answer. Okay, this is the time where math students' eyes gloss over at this moment of the question. Thomas, go ahead.
Just a question, like, it meant like the maximum, like, value, like answer.
Yes. Yeah.
I had a problem with that, because I looked in the back of the book and it said it was 48, but I didn't understand how it could be 48, because if you plug any negative into that, and then you keep getting that negative higher and higher and higher, it'll keep getting a higher number, so it's negative.
Because think, if I do negative infinity, it's going to be a lower number though, right? Let's say I plug in negative 50, okay? 3 times negative 50 is a plus. Now it's going to be 174 times negative 50, which is going to be a big negative number then, okay? Now, back to this here though, before I a small lesson today. So math teachers, math students' eyes gloss over. How do you find the maximum possible answer? Noah, go ahead. Complete the square, find the vertex. Okay? Now you can also do the midpoint of the roots. I'm going to complete the square because I like it. Alright? But you can find the midpoint of the roots as well if you choose to. Okay? So to complete the square, that gives you your vertex. So I'm going to say f of x equals negative 3x squared plus 24x. Can I get someone to be exceptionally brave and tell me where the heaven that came from? Go ahead.
You just multiply the bracket by that?
Right on. And what I did was I put the like the x squared on the left, right? You put it in descending powers, right? So the x squared goes on the left. Can someone be brave? 5 new people that haven't raised their hands today, because I know you can do this. Natasha, I'll start with you. What's the first step in completing the square, please? Oh no! Somebody wake her up. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be mean. I apologize. I'll pick on you again later. No, you already raised your hand. Somebody new, guys, please be brave. Yes, there you go. Negative 3, good. I apologize. Next step here is going to be what? Somebody else. Somebody be brave. The quiet majority of the class. Cassidy, go. Good. Yes, negative 8 over 2 squared, which happens to be negative 4 squared, which happens to be 16. Okay, Emily, you be brave now and tell me what to do next.
You add and subtract.
Very good. So it's going to be negative 3 x squared minus 8x plus 16 minus 16. Okay, Rachel, what's the next step, please, in completing the square? Okay, so how do we do that? Awesome, very good. So it's going to be negative 3 bracket x squared minus 8x plus 16. Negative 16 times negative 3 is plus 48. Okay. Chris, question or answer?
It's
Good. Okay.
Wait, are we changing it to vertex form to make it easier, or because we have to?
We want to find the maximum that way. That's the only other way I could have done it is the midpoint of the roots. And we'll get to that later. So if you think back to grade 10, you could have said, well, the root for this is going to be positive 8, and the root for this is 0. So like the axis symmetry would be 4. Right? Like you could have done it that way as well, but we need practice completing the square, no offense. Okay, so do it that one. You good now? Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. So my vertex here is going to be 4 and 48 and opens down. Okay, now here is the trick to this question again. I have 4 and 48. Can somebody tell me what 4 comma 48 means for this question? Minchan, go.
Here is no longer 48 or 4.
Right on. So when you sub in 4, or when you choose 4, you get 48, which is your max number, max output, max number. Okay, so somehow that is a nice little application there of the f of x stuff. You could have done that with y. I could have given you this in your grade 10 final exam. I could have done that with y instead of f of x. And what I was trying to say, although people are getting freaked out about this function stuff, it's the same as y. It's the same thing. The only difference is for stuff like this, it's not. Okay, and for the stuff off the graph, it's still, it just worded differently. Okay, I'm going to get into today's lesson right now. Okay, are we feeling sort of okay? If you're not, please see me. Okay, for this. Today is going to be a quick and easy lesson. I'm going to stop over 20 minutes.